Hey guys, I'm Taryn Myatt.
My name is Daniel Duenas.
And this is Channel TDS.
Your destination for all things coffee.
Alright, so today I'm super excited to do this video because we just got back from Portland.
Woo!
And we get to highlight one of our favorite shops that we tried there.
Woo!
We are highlighting COAVA Coffee today.
COAVA Coffee, a Portland celebrity now, honestly. If you are from the Portland area, you definitely know COAVA.
Yes.
That's for sure. The Pacific Northwest in general, I think, is familiar with COAVA.
Yeah, and I think even a lot of people like in the Central Valley might be familiar as well. The shop that I work at, we use COAVA. And
Wholesale.
I think a lot of people are familiar with that being a good brand.
So for those of you that aren't familiar with COAVA, let me share a little bit. COAVA was actually started by a gentleman named Matt Higgins in his garage back in 2008. And then as time progressed, they were able to develop a brick and mortar store in Portland, Oregon on Grand. And then they opened up a second location, actually not too long ago, within the last year, I believe, on Hawthorne. So they're up to 2 retail locations, both in Portland proper. And we had a chance to visit both, so we're gonna tell you about it.
So we go and we try the Hawthorne location. The new location, it's a really smaller sized cafe. You talked COAVA up to me. So this was my first time trying them. I had never been to their retail location.
Right.
So I was super stoked that you were talking them up and I was able to actually try them.
I was introduced to COAVA back in 2010, and when I first went, it was one of the greatest coffee experiences I had ever had in my life. They were roasting on site. I got to have a Chemex and an espresso, and I remember just chopping it up with the baristas and tasting, without question, the best coffee I had ever had at that point in my life, in my barista career. And I continued to preach and herald the gospel of COAVA Coffee, and this was actually, I think, the first time that I had been able to go back to COAVA since I lived in the Pacific Northwest like 4 years ago. Okay. So it had been 4 years since I had actually been able to go and see how things are going retail-wise. I too had had their stuff wholesale. I had gone to various accounts where people were carrying it, and it was still great. It was still a great product. Yeah. So we do go, and it is your first experience, and I'm super pumped. I remember thinking, though, right away that I was a little concerned because this new location offered our black coffee not out of a pour-over of any sort, not a V60, not a Chemex, which COAVA is kind of known for, but out of a Fetco. So that was just kind of like, weird. And
maybe they have it dialed in, like maybe it's amazing.
Yeah, very possible. Maybe it is amazing. I have a hard time being swayed by somebody who's not making each cup of coffee to order, but that's just me. So we do get our coffee, and yes, I'm super disappointed. It was not very good at all, and neither was our espresso. Yeah. That was kind of a bummer in a lot of respects.
I was bummed because I had heard you talk about these guys so positively, and when I tried it, I was like, what's going on? Like, were you wrong in your assessment, or like, did they just like lose quality?
Right. So here's something to note, though. Even though the product that we were consuming wasn't great, I was at least glad to find out that our baristas were super sweet. They were very nice, they were very hospitable, they were definitely down.
Very warm.
To converse and to chat. They introduced us to some new music. Check out I Am Nobody if you are into the music scene. I was super vibing on that kind of like trappy, ambient, dancey background instrumental music. Very good, even if you like that hip hop vibe, it's got some sprinkles of that in there. Random music plug.
Guys, we like music.
We really like music. I'm surprised that we haven't talked about music more.
Right? Like, this is gonna happen every now and again. So, moving on.
We, as a whole, were disappointed with our experience, but we were just kind of like, okay, it's a new location, they moved their roastery, they have hired new baristas, training is probably gonna follow up, and things are gonna get better, so we're gonna go to Grand.
Yes.
And we're gonna check things out. Like the original COAVA, we're sure that they've got their ish dialed in, we know that they know what they're doing. It's gonna redeem the experience as a whole.
Before we get to the Grand location now, I remember strictly being disappointed in the Hawthorne location, and then the barista, I felt like he knew, and so what he did was really nice.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Do we want to like...
Yeah, absolutely. Tell them what they did. Because we were a little bummed, and we didn't try to show it.
No, like we weren't like trying to show that.
But we were definitely in our own little corner, like
Yeah.
tasting coffee. We had that look of like analyzing and wondering and questioning.
Like again, the space is small, so if they overheard us like talking negatively, and we weren't trying to be negative, but
Right.
for whatever reason, he brought us in Ethiopia. Because he just really wanted to make sure that we had a good cup of coffee, and it was better.
It was much better.
Yeah,
it was definitely that was definitely a good cup of coffee, which in retrospect makes me think, okay, maybe they do have that FETCO thing dialed in, because that was a FETCO that made that Ethiopian coffee.
Right, exactly.
So
maybe the first one they just hadn't like practiced with it. We're giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's nice to see a barista with discernment saying, okay, I want all our customers to have a good time. So if they're not, I'm going to make sure that they do. In addition to bringing us the free cup of coffee, COAVA was so cool to give us free pour-over coins.
I'm going to grab those. Hold this. These are our little COAVA coins that we still have, even though
we never used them.
We went to the grand location
and we forgot,
and we forgot to use them. So
you know, it's okay because we are gonna go back.
We are gonna go back, and we're gonna tell you why we're gonna go back.
Yeah.
Momentarily. But first, let's talk about Grand. Again, I've been to Grand before. I know that it's a shared space with this beautiful like bamboo wood shop place, and I remember loving the bathroom and the atmosphere. It's very industrial, which is really cool. It's like you walked into like a Ford assembly line with some of the stuff that they have out there.
Totally. I felt like the name being Grand Street and then walking into this and feeling like it was this grand space.
Very appropriate.
Like, well, walking in, the lighting was kind of cool. It was a little bit darker, like of a feel. They do have a garage door that opens up and lets a lot of light in. But it was kind of like overcast feeling, which when we walked up to the baristas, I don't know if that played a part in their attitude, but all the baristas were kind of cold to us.
It was one of those things to where we both know as baristas that sometimes you get slammed and your biggest concern is getting through the queue and making sure that everybody gets their drink in a timely fashion.
Totally.
And that takes precedence over
For sure.
really interacting with your customers. You know, they had one person on the register, they had one person on the espresso bar, and they had one person doing pour-overs.
Right.
So that hadn't changed, which was nice to see. They didn't go to a FETCO at the original location, still rocking out with the Chemex. And it was just kind of unfortunate, like you said, that there wasn't a queue. We walked up, we ordered, and that was just kind of it.
Right.
And then we kind of went and sat down and just waited for our drinks to be called to be ready, and we were able to observe, and it looked like everybody kind of had their ducks in a row. You know, they had one guy doing his thing on the Chemex, and it looked like he was being really attentive. The gentleman on the espresso bar looked like he was really focused and kind of rocking things out. So we're like, all right, you know, maybe they're all having a bad day, maybe something happened, whatever.
Right.
At least we're gonna get some killer coffee out of the situation.
Right.
We get our coffee, we go back to our spots, and we start to sip, and it's legitimately worse than what we had at the Hawthorne location.
For someone to be like so like dialed in and focused on their pour over,
Right.
and then to not like do a good job,
Right, to
like
give you a product that was just like not executed
like
well.
I'm watching you like in it, like you're in
Yeah,
the zone,
oh for sure.
And it did not taste like he was in the zone.
Yeah, no, I was definitely disappointed, and that was really unfortunate.
Like 2 strikes. Like
As far as as far as cafes go, definitely. I would say that now, having gone back to Grand between the two, if I were to go back to either location, it would be the Hawthorne, because the baristas were really pleasant, even though the coffee wasn't great. But that's still an underlying concern of mine. The coffee, like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm thinking. I have loved COAVA for so long, I've hyped COAVA for so long, and now I've been to both of their retail locations, which are supposed to be the proper representation. Like, wholesale is risky, you know what I mean? Like, doing wholesale accounts is super sketchy because you, as the owner of that company, aren't in control of the way other people are handling your product. You're hoping that they'll respect it, you're hoping that they'll put it on proper display. Some coffee companies that are doing it right, you know, Milstead up in Seattle, you know, they carry COAVA and they're doing it great. Preservation, you know, down here in Modesto, they carry COAVA, they're doing things right, and it's really cool. So it was so weird to be like, dude, this is like your stuff. And you're just not living up to it. I had to say, okay, I'm picking up a bag of the best that they've got, and I need to know if everything has fallen, if the entire empire has fallen, or if this is just like a fluke situation or what.
Right.
So we picked up some coffee.
Right.
We brought it back.
Red labeled bag.
Red bag, yeah. For those of you that aren't aware, COAVA has this limited red bag series. It's basically a way of them communicating to the rest of the world. We've known this farm, we've known these farmers for a long time, and they have been committed to excellence in the way that they handle their green product, and we have been committed to excellence in making sure that it is a beautifully balanced cup of coffee, because that's what COVA is all about, balance.
Right.
And I love that about COVA. And so we grab a bag, we bring it home, we make it in our classic Bon Mac and AeroPress, and our results are...
Phenomenal.
phenomenal!
It was really good.
It was amazingly good.
Out of all the coffee that we had brought back from Portland, don't want to give a spoiler alert, but this was the best one.
Yeah, actually, yeah, as you say that, I'm like, yes, definitely. It is without question, yeah.
Was really good.
Yeah, so like as a whole, you know, whoever's roasting, if it's still Matt, if it's somebody else, whatever, killing it.
Yeah.
Killing the game, making a great product. So what do we have to say? Like now that we have that, what do we have to say?
What we have to say is, first of all, COVA is an amazing product, and if you're looking for great coffee and you can find it where you're at, go ahead and get it.
Mm-hmm.
I support them, like they're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at their location, please leave a comment below if you've had different experiences, because we want to know about that.
For sure.
But we just, in both locations, had bad experiences, like their craft was not where it needed to be.
Mm.
So I think our assumption is, you know, if you're at like Milstead and you're at, you know, a cafe that has their wholesale, like go ahead and get it, because it's going to be phenomenal.
More than likely. So I want to speak to COVA directly and say, please understand, we love your company. We love your product. We love the vibe of your cafes. Save our experience with your baristas. And so now here's a shout out to baristas.
Yeah.
We set the tone of cafes, whether we like it or not.
Totally.
You know, if we're having a shitty day, our customers are going to have a shitty experience. And so shout out to all the baristas, we get it. Sometimes the job is a drag and it's just like you're not in it.
Right.
But you honestly like aren't there for you. You know what I mean? Like you're there to produce a killer product and make somebody's day a little bit better with a cup of coffee. And that may not seem like much, but for us, like I just remember being tremendously, like I was borderline heartbroken because I honestly thought that one of my favorite coffee shops had just like dropped. COVA, please recognize, we don't want to diss you. We want people to go to your cafes. We want people to support your business, but we want it to be the COVA that we know it should be, not the COVA that we experienced. So we will totally go back. We still have these tokens that we need to use. So the next time we're in Portland, we're going to use those. We're going to use them for sure.
Yeah.
But COVA, we do love you, and we hope that you see this. We hope that you, COVA, you know, if you're a barista, employee, whatever, comment below and let's open up a dialogue about this.
Totally.
Other baristas, if you have a different perspective on this situation, also comment below. Let us know what you think. Let's start a dialogue. That's all the time that we have for COVA today. Please be excited. We have several other coffee shops that we are going to be highlighting about our amazing Portland experience. So to follow along on that journey, remember to
like and subscribe.
Yes.
I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit about COVA and you're getting excited about this shop. But for now, enjoy the rest of your Monday and we will see you next time. And don't forget to
stay on that grind.